everyone. I am Rob, and I'm Uncle Rob in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is our tribe slash swamp studios, and we've got the one and only Uncle Rhino at our studios in Shreveport. What's up, bro?
No, just kicking. Excited to have this big guy we got on for y'all today.
Well, it's funny you should say that because that is his moniker. He goes by the name of Big Guy. Folks on the video can see his name is Mark Bott, but he goes by Big Guy. What's up, man? How you doing?
Just great, guys. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. We'll have some
Abs-
fun.
Absolutely. Where are you from, bro? Where are you at?
I'm in Springfield, Illinois, and grew up in Chicago.
Oh, I've been through there on Interstate 57, through Effingham, up all the
Oh,
way through
yeah.
Kankakee. So I know that area well. Not my favorite place in the world. Once you get around the Windy City, it gets a little rough, especially when you're driving an 18 wheeler. But you do what you got to do. Tell
It
us a
gets
little bit.
ugly.
It does get ugly. Tell us a little bit about Big Guy, where you got the name. Tell us a little bit about you, bro.
Sure. Yeah. As I said, I grew up in Chicago, and I started at 14 in a garage band. And about, probably 10, 15 miles from us, there was another group practicing in a garage called Sticks.
Oh, Tommy Shaw and Dennis
Yeah.
DeYoung.
Yeah, the difference is they made it, and I ended up going a different direction and stopping and deciding to raise a family, and took 30 years away from music. And I had just started kind of going. I was in a Kiss cover band, and we were all around Chicago and getting a lot of bookings and so on. I was a young guy, 17, doing the deal. But I ended up at early 20s, getting married, raised four kids. Uh, my background is in the automotive industry. My great grandfather was a guy named Hugh Chalmers, and we had a family company in Detroit on the Detroit River, 30 acres, employed 4,000 souls in the early 1900s. And he actually came up with the idea of the Major League Baseball MVP award, and so it's kind of a wild story. Of course, then there came a thing called the Depression, so they didn't leave me any. They didn't leave me any trinkets, if you know what I mean. So,
So you were
so I'm still
talking
broke and sing.
you
I'll
were
tell you
talking
a fun fact right there, a tie-in,
Yeah.
because we didn't know this, everybody. We didn't know this. This is all happening organically right here. Are
Yeah.
you big into baseball at all?
You know what? I was a catcher for 15 years, and I'm still getting some of those things fixed. I'm getting ready to have a shoulder replacement, probably in January if I can hold off till then. And I just had a finger redone last week and my elbow redone. So I've had a couple nicks here and there, and just the last probably 10 years I've been back playing again once the kids moved out of the house, and I retired. I was working when I retired for America's Most Wanted. I was working there for 4 years, and prior to that, 25 years as a international child safety advocate, traveling all over North America and setting up safety centers free for kids. And that's kind of what I did and chased bad guys, and that's just my basic background right there.
no,
I was,
dude.
I was asking because my father was the starting pitcher for the Cubs, of the '69 Cubs, Archie Reynolds.
Archie Reynolds. That was
Yep.
a heck of a team, man. Ernie Banks and Ron Santo and Kessinger and on and on and on.
Yep, they're right there in your
Man,
backyard, so that's why I brought that up
yeah.
because I
Woo.
love me some Chicago.
Now, did you play college
Yeah.
baseball or?
I did not. I played high school baseball and then a little bit after that, in the leagues and things, and moved on from there. Yeah.
How do you get on America's Most Wanted? How does that? Hey, man, you want to come over here and work for us? Or how
Yeah.
does?
Well, I ended up buying my own car dealership in the 80s, late 80s, and I bought a Toyota Dodge dealership in Alton, Illinois. I had been a general manager for a big group in Springfield, where I'm at now, and I was a general manager for all the stores here in town. And I ended up buying one down there. And when I sold it a few years later, I was in a position where I didn't know quite what I was going to do, but I was watching Nancy Grace, and her program. And she had on a guy that daughter had been abducted, and the outcome was the worst you could imagine. And he held up her little button. Every parent gets a button when their child is taken, and abducted, and the bad news comes back. And she looked like my daughter Ashley.
Mm.
So they had a phone number. He was trying to get some money raised, and I, was fairly good at that. And so I called him, and I just bought that dealership, and I was just going through the sale process. They didn't want my old computers, and so anyway, I said, "Do you need computers?" And he said, "Yeah." So I sent him 5 computers, and I tucked a check in for 5 grand.
Wow.
And when he called, we had talked on the phone about 2 hours prior to that, getting the information, and I told him, how bad I felt and the things you tell another man, when he loses his child. And anyway, he called me the 3, 4, 5 days later, whenever the stuff got there, and he said, "I'm going to tear up your check." And I
Mm.
said, "Well, why is that?" I'm thinking he's probably thinking a car dealer won't clear. So I said, it'll clear, trust me. And he said, "No, I decided I wanted you." So
Wow.
that's how I got going in child safety. And I put together a program for him where he could do some things at some of my auto dealer friends across the country. And I just knew a lot of people from going to these 20 group meetings where car dealers get together and look at their statements and things like that. And so they all participated. They wanted to help them. And we raised 380 grand for them in a year.
Nice.
And yeah, and that's not a lot in that type of thing, but it was enough to get him really going and get some people on board and things like that. And I was doing a town meeting for him, and a guy came up at the end of the town meeting and said, "I want to talk to you." And he was scouting me. You get scouted, I guess, in child safety. And he said, "John Walsh wants to meet you." And I flew the next week to DC to Fox Studios, and we talked. And he said, "I want you to handle all of my stuff on these new child safety programs across the world." I did that for 4 years, and it was probably 4 of the most wild, intense, fun times of my life.
It's got to be tough though. I mean, with all those missing kids.
Oh, it's horrible.
But hey, man, I commend you for that 100%. I mean,
Thank you.
that takes a special person to be able to deal with that day in and day out.
Yeah, it's not, you get numb in a sense, but the main thing is you learn you learn how to comfort parents, and you learn how to get them to be, unfortunately, advocates.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
And I see on Facebook every day, so and so is missing from
Yeah.
this place and that place. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of kids missing every day, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, it breaks my heart.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
spent I
go.
spent 100 days. I had to go and see for myself. So I went down back in 2022. I believe it was 22. Might have been February of 23. I think that might have been it. But I went down and spent all that time down on the. Actually, I think it was 22. I went down and spent all that time on the Mexico border.
Oh
I
boy.
had to go down there and see it firsthand. Uh, when the news was saying there's nothing happening down there, there's nothing to see here, I went down there for 100 days.
Yeah,
And
nightmare.
yeah, I spent all the time with the Border Patrol and the National Guard and Highway Patrol. Everybody was down there. It was all hands on deck. And people just can't the numbers that came across were nothing. They still don't report them accurately. You see them slowly nudging up. It was 6 million, then 8 million, then 10 million, then 12 million. I think the highest they've gotten so far is 18 million, and that's not accurate. It's considerably more that came across in a 4 year window. But the stuff with the children, that was
Yeah.
primarily one of the things that I could not process.
Well,
You
parents
know.
don't have any tools, and that's what we provided them with. Got them in and got the kids digitally fingerprinted, but it was privatized. I don't believe that anyone needs your child's information at all, but the police and your doctor and your dentist, and only the police only if your child's missing. Other
Well,
than that, they don't need it either. And so we did that for the parents, and we did over 19 years. I did, and I don't mean this as a me show, but I'm just giving you some numbers that are relevant. 1.8 million kids, and never charged the parents a nickel. And I thank my
it's
sponsors. Yeah.
Yes.
That's how many kids y'all recovered?
No, that's how many we safeguarded and got education to them. Because when the parents came
Gotcha.
in to get that done free, that's when my system would go in and we would educate them with a thing called Check First, which teaches the kids how to be safe when someone comes up to them. And it's a little thing I developed, and the FBI still uses it as well.
Man, that's again, I commend you on that 100%.
But it wasn't all me, trust me. But I was in the middle of it, and that was it was just a wild deal. But so the whole time I was singing, and I when I retired, which was 8 months ago, I got serious about singing. I started working on my voice even more, and I'd had some recordings and some things, and I had a band, and I decided to really ramp it up. And I knew I needed a great agent, and I got the best, Beverly Jenkins, and she is just absolutely Nashville tested, worldwide tested, and she knows how to get the word out. So I've releases now since November, and I've got one that's number 79, and hopefully going up. And I think this new one with Billy Don Burns that I just did, Lonesome 77203. Uh, they tell me that the radio play on it is just sick. So that makes me feel great, and hopefully I can get my message out a little bit.
I like your voice, man. You got a nice deep voice. You could, man, if you ever thought about getting into radio, I'm sure me and Rhino could hook you up. I would love to be able to get that voice on the station. So, how long
Thank
have you
you.
been? You're welcome. How long have you been with Beverly?
She and I have been together just about 6 months, and she got my first release out, which, by the way, she didn't like it, didn't like the song at all. And there's certain things I can't probably say on your station, so I won't say it, but it's sort of a Toby Keith all-American song about the way I feel about life. So,
Hmm.
and I was asked multiple times to change it, and I don't mean this to sound cocky. I'm on my ninth life, guys. I don't need to be famous. I've done a lot of stuff, and I'm not saying I'm any great shakes. I'm not. I'm a dad of four.
I like that what we were talking about before with the other stuff outside of music, and then we were coming back into music.
Right, right.
This is really important, and we don't have this opportunity. I don't a lot, but I very much identify with this. As a man does not have to only be good at one thing,
Yeah,
and for me, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but knowing your story, knowing you, knowing your music, for me, your actions serve the world around you.
yeah. It
Uh,
just comes pouring out, and there's an opening, and you know this from being a performer. There is an opening that's either open or closed when you're writing music. And if it's open, you can write and write and write, and it's just flowing. If it's closed, it's
yeah,
like, what happened?
that's all within the art, but I'm talking about just within life.
Yeah.
I see someone like you, an exceptional individual, which you are. You're a very exceptional human being.
Oh,
And
thank you.
so when I see what you do, your actions, they serve like a warrior king, a servant king. Your actions serve the world around you. Okay? Your business serves your family and the community around you.
Yeah.
But your art, see, because a man's not only meant to be good at only one thing, or a woman, your art feeds your soul, and therefore also from there turns right around and feeds the world and serves the world around you. So that's what I was trying to get to earlier. There's not a need to pull away, and so many people think that the music is the destination. It's not. It's
Right.
one of your tools, one
Yeah.
of your mediums that you use to
Yeah.
reach to
I
out to the
I
world.
just wrote a song, and one of the taglines in it is, and I believe it with my heart. It was, I'm not trying to be a big shot. I came here to give.
Yeah,
And that, man, that hits.
yeah.
So we'll see if it hits when I release it.
So
It may not.
have you had some success on the Cashbox
Yeah,
magazine
yeah,
chart
yeah.
through
I've
Beverly?
I've had one song released, which was Kiss My Bad
Gotcha.
American, you know what. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway, but anyway, I didn't think it would chart. She didn't. She thought it kind of would, but I don't know. But it's a real good, fast-paced song and kind of fun song. But anyway, it came out and it was banging around for a couple months, and then she said it's number 95. Well, then last month it was number 92, and on the 25th of this month, I'll find out. I hope it's going to ease its way up again. So I've got one on the charts, and then the Lonesome 77203. Beverly pretty much knows what's up, and she said, "You've got a top 10 hit." I'm telling you right now. And Leon Everett, who's had 9 gold albums with RCA, he said it's going to be a top 10 hit. So again, I don't know. All I can do is sing it and do it from my heart. And the other thing is, I believe when you do a song like that, that you respect the other artist. And anytime I mention that song, it's not my song. It's like a race car, and I'm driving it for the weekend. And he appreciated that. Billy Don Burns.
Who is the songwriter?
Yeah, and he's written over 500 songs. He's written for Willie Nelson, Tanya Tucker, and here I am, just some guy from Springfield, Illinois. So it's pretty cool.
Man, that's a cool story, bro. I would here at the end of the interview, we always play one of your songs that you want, and I'm assuming Lonesome will probably be the one that you would want us
Yeah,
to play.
yeah,
We'll get into that here towards the
cool.
end. We'll get a little backstory on the song and what it means to you and all that. So, do you have like a full blown project going on with Leon, or is it kind of a song here or there? Are you working on an
Well,
album or?
he basically with GAC Records, you're either signed or you're not, and I'm going down here before too awful long, and I'm going to finish up that process. They've asked me to be on the label.
Nice. Very, very good,
Yeah,
man. Very, very good. Leon is putting out a lot of great stuff out of South Carolina for sure.
yeah, yeah. So I'm pumped about that, and it was interesting because Beverly got a hold of me a couple of months ago, and she said, "All I can tell you is that I can't tell you a whole lot, but she said you need a country hit. I'm just telling you right now, no ifs, ands, or buts. You need a country hit. So you need, because I'm pretty strong-willed, and she said you need to settle down. You need to listen to me and let me drive."
Yeah.
And I said,
You can't be on both sides of the fishbowl. You
right,
gotta have a pit crew you can trust. If you're gonna be
yep,
the winning driver, then you're gonna have to have people
yes,
charting
sir.
up high, spotting.
So I'm a
And
sponge.
and at that point when she says that, I would have probably been like, "Well, here are the keys."
I just said, yeah, here, take it. She knows everybody and everything. And she called me back within a matter of several days. And she said, "I've got someone that I know. I called him on my behalf, and I knew this was a fit for you. So I told him a little bit about you. And he, again, this is a guy that's written 500 songs, recorded 75 that have been on the, in and around the chart. And he has traveled on a motorcycle for the last 50 years all over the country from honky tonk to honky tonk. And like he's playing on a show coming up with Way Jennings, which is Waylon Jennings' grandson, who's coming out with a new album. And he was invited to be there with Creed Fisher and all these other people, and
Nice.
you name it. And so, it looks like I may possibly go perform that song and dedicate it to the guy who wrote it.